Hey Grace House Churches, hopefully you have enjoyed dinner, and now we can have a conversation about Ephesians chapter 5. So in the second verse of Ephesians 5, the text says, "But among you there must not even be a hint of sexual immorality." So we just camped out on that verse and asked the question, what is Paul talking about? What does that mean? And what's the vision that God has for sexual morality if we are supposed to not have a hint of sexual immorality? And so I tried to frame the conversation by saying, if you're new to Jesus or new to church, this is not where Christianity starts. This is where you progress towards from the good news of the gospel leading to the good life offered in the gospel. That the inworking has an outworking, that the adoption into the family leads to family resemblance. I try to say that over and over again, that this is in sequence. And so for those of us who are disciples of Jesus, among you, the followers of Christ, there must not even be a hint of sexual immorality. So in order for us to understand that, we had to go back to Genesis chapter 1, where you see God creating male and female. And then in Genesis chapter 2, the man is put to sleep, his rib is pulled out, woman is brought to the man. And the text says that they are one flesh, they leave father and mother to be together, and they are naked and unashamed. And so the vision that God has for healthy sexuality is one man, one woman living in consensual, self-sacrificial, covenantal sex. And everything outside of that is the Greek word porneia. So anything that's not pictured there as one man, one woman, lifelong, covenantal, self-sacrificial, consensual sex, that is outside of God's good design for flourishing. But we've got to be gracious to one another, because the truth is the fall, Genesis chapter 3, has broken all of our sexuality. And we've gone from naked and unashamed to hiding and ashamed. And I grew up in purity culture. I understand this. We made pledges. We tried our best. But at the end of the day, fear-mongering was not enough. It made us just feel shame, like we were damaged goods. And I think that's still true in the church today. So I try to offer some pathways out of it for us to walk in God's vision for sexuality. The first thing we talked about is that lust is not your biggest problem, longing is. That underneath lust, you have a desire to be seen, known, loved, received. But sadly, lust is promising to deliver on that, and it can't. And so just recognize you were designed for good pleasure. You were designed to be satisfied, but only satisfied in God, not satisfied in sexual brokenness. I gave the story of the sirens, about how one sailor, he makes it through by just like willpower, but the other sailor pulls out his music and starts playing a greater song. And so willpower can get you through, but it won't change your heart. What you need is a greater song. You need a deeper longing. You see this in the Psalms when David says, "As the deer pants for water, so my soul longs for you." That's what we need, is that longing. And then secondly, we talked about that we must have, what do we have here? We're going to keep this in. We're just going to keep this live. That the Bible teaches we need to identify root issues and create guardrails. So become internally curious and externally cautious. You need to figure out why you're drawn to things. Maybe that requires counseling, digging into your childhood, trauma, past, whatever you've experienced. There's a reason you're drawn to the brokenness you are. And you should become curious about that. You should figure out, why am I tempted by that? Why am I seeking that? What's going on in my heart that's leading me to that? And so internally curious, and then externally cautious. Create guardrails, set boundaries, get accountability software. Go to the Pure Desire Conference. Figure out ways to sabotage the devil's temptations. Tell your friends, hey, I'm noticing this person. I'm flirting with this person. I'm struggling with this. My social media feed's getting worse. I'm watching these shows that I shouldn't. Whatever it is that's leading you down the path, speak it, name it, say it out loud, and own it. Sabotage your own plans for God's glory. And then lastly, we said we must balance grace and truth without losing hope. You got to speak the truth, and the truth leads to conviction. And you need people in your life to speak the truth. But you shouldn't lose hope, and you shouldn't lose grace. I think what breaks my heart is, in all the years I've done ministry, sexual sin has led more people away from Jesus and his mission than any other sin. And so if you have brokenness in your past, like we all do, that's not the part that kills me. The part that kills me is that you now think you're dirty, and you're broken, and you're unwanted, and you're unusable. But the gospel is the good news that Christ can redeem all things. And in John chapter 4, Jesus goes to the most sexually immoral, socially outcast person of that culture and offers the Samaritan woman the good news and says, "I'm living water. You're thirsty and only I can satisfy." And she receives it. So that's the invitation for all of us, to go to Jesus and receive the thing that which satisfies. This is going to take the work of our lives, friends, but it's worthy. It's a worthy effort to see the glory of Christ in the gospel as more satisfying than sexual brokenness. So as you guys talk, try to keep it PG-13, try to keep it as clean as you can, but by God's grace, be vulnerable and help each other so that we can live out this Bible verse today.